I've tried a few brands of vegan Italian sausages, like Beyond Meat, and although I found them too oily, I love the flavor. Then there were a few shortages at the grocer, and this year, you know, with everything going on, and I wanted to make lasagna rolls, so I had to come up with a meat alternative. Now, after lots of experimenting, I have the best plant-based Italian sausage recipe. It's easy to make, and unlike the kind you get from the store, low fat. When the taste is right, we don't need the fat and oil. Welcome to Comfort Food Farms, the plant-based home cooking channel. If this is the first time we are meeting, I am Kari Gregor. I'm glad you've tuned in. Let's get to it. Take 1 cup of walnuts and cover it with enough water so that it's about 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 an inch above the walnuts. And let that sit for 20 minutes or so. Before I forget, if you're getting good information from this video, like it, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell below so you'll receive a notification the next time a plant-based vegan recipe is posted. I have 1/4 cup of tomato paste, to which I am adding enough water so that it equals 1 cup of liquid. Then we're going to stir it in and get the whisk it in so that it's well incorporated. Take your tomato sauce mixture and put it into a cooking pot. Then we're going to add 1/2 cup of bulgur wheat. Bulgur wheat is a parboiled cracked wheat. It doesn't need to be cooked, but we are going to cook it for this sausage. Now add 1 teaspoon of soy sauce, 1 teaspoon of vegan Worcestershire sauce, 3 tablespoons of brown sugar. This is optional. You don't have to add sugar if you don't want to, but this is going to be a sweet, spicy sausage. 1 tablespoon of vegan chicken flavored bouillon powder. Now we'll whisk this together, then take it to the stove. Our bulgur wheat mixture has thickened up very nicely. It's like a porridge. You could actually probably use steel-cut oats to get the same effect in the sausage, but if you couldn't find this type of bulgur wheat, I'll link the type that I used in the description below. Our walnuts have soaked. You can see that the water is very cloudy. Time to drain them. There, our walnuts are drained, and we are going to add them to this spin chopper. This is a Swiss spin chopper, a handheld food processor, and it's just so handy to have. It's small. It's perfect for chopping up things like these nuts, onions, that sort of thing. Now we're adding 1 tablespoon of soy sauce to the spin chopper before we process the nuts. 1 tablespoon of liquid smoke. 2 tablespoons of red wine vinegar. For dry ingredients, I have 2 teaspoons of fennel seed and 1 teaspoon of red pepper flakes. Put the lid on and give it a pull. It's going to take several pulls, and then you see it kind of looks like a ground beef mixture. That's what we're aiming for. After a few pulls more, I think we have what we want. Yes, that looks good. To a mixing bowl, I'm going to add 2 cans of drained, rinsed pinto beans. You could cook them yourself. You'll need about 3 cups. I'm using a pastry blender to smash up these pinto beans. I don't have a food processor, an electric food processor. I've opted to get a Vitamix blender instead. So this takes a little bit of time, but it's not that bad. Next, we have 2 teaspoons of salt, 2 teaspoons of onion powder, 2 teaspoons of garlic powder, 1.5 tablespoons of smoked paprika. We are also putting in 3 tablespoons of Italian seasoning, 1 teaspoon of seasoning salt, and 1 teaspoon of black ground pepper. The last thing we're putting into this mixture is a 1/4 cup of miso. It's a fermented soybean paste. It's time to bring all these different elements together. This is the walnut piece mixture that we made in our spin chopper. Let's mix that into the beans. We're going to bring our tomato paste and bulgur wheat mixture, add that, and stir it around a little bit. I'm going to transfer this because it needs to be kneaded. This is my Bosch food processor with a dough hook. I'm going to put the mixture in here, spin it around a few times to get that all mixed together very nicely. Doesn't that look lovely? I'm adding some water, 2 tablespoons of water. I'm also going to add some olive oil, 3 tablespoons of olive oil. This is totally optional. You can just increase the water if you want to. You have total control over the fat, salt, and sugar. I find a little bit of olive oil in this will keep it from getting too dried out in the freezer. Now we're going to add in, starting with just a 1/4 cup of gluten wheat flour. I'm going to mix in another 1/4 cup. So that was about 1/2 cup, maybe a little bit more. I wanted to get it so it started cleaning the sides of the mixer off. That's beautiful. Let it spin for about 6 minutes or so. Now I'm measuring out a 1/4 cup of this mixture after it has blended and kneaded in the mixer. Look at that, as it's got lots of nice strings of gluten developing. Gluten is what gives us the grain of the meat, and it's a wonderful binder for these sausages. Now I'm shaping one to use as a guide so that The others will be all uniform. We want to try and make these as much the same as possible in size. So I've got one there for my guide. I'm going to be measuring all the other sausages against that one. I have pre-cut sheets of foil that are about 3 inches and then 1.5 inches to 2 inches on either side of the sausage. So roll them up tightly and then twist the ends. That twist is going to make it look like it is a sausage link on the ends. Speedy, speedy version. Look at that gorgeous, gorgeous sausage. Using your Instant Pot. This is an 8-quart Instant Pot. Put the wire rack in the bottom and then put in water. It should be about 2 cups. It will come just below the wire rack. Now I'm adding hot water because it will speed up the process of bringing it up to pressure. It doesn't have to heat the water ahead of time. We're going to build a little mountain of sausages here. You want to make sure that you have room in between each sausage so that the steam will come up in between it. I can comfortably get 4 across, and then I will build the next layer, T to that, and so on until I'm using all the sausages in here. I think that's going to be the last layer. Oh, I'm going to sneak this one in on the side. That makes 17 sausages. Put the lid on. I am programming the Instant Pot to cook this for 25 minutes at high pressure. Our sausages are finished. I let it naturally release, and they are still very hot. You can see the steam coming off. Look at them. They're lovely. This is after it's cool enough to handle. You can take it out, open it up, and take a look. Now, this is what I do to package them for the freezer. Put the date on and what's inside the package. I'm just going to store them in these Ziploc freezer bags. I roll them up so that there's wax paper in between each sausage link. They'll be easy to get apart, so if I just want 1 sausage or 2 or however many that we're going to be doing on the barbecue or doing on the grill, we can just use what we need. There, all snug and done, ready for the freezer. Squeeze the air out and close it. Oh my, I put the wrong date on it. I threw a few into the toaster oven for supper tonight. We're going to have brats. You can do this in the toaster oven. You can fry them on the stove with no oil. Those are wonderful pans for that. You can do them on the grill. You can do them in the broiler. There's so many different ways to use this 100% plant-based sausage. Well, let's see how these turned out. That's so good. Put some of that vegan mozzarella that we made. Some peppers, onions. Delicious, delicious. And I certainly don't miss the oil. Well, if you found this video useful, give us a thumbs up below. And next week, we're going to be using these Italian sausages to make Italian sausage lasagna rolls. So, while you're down there, subscribe to the channel and ring that bell so you will receive a notification when that vegan plant-based recipe is posted. Thank you for watching.